get my computer ready because I'm getting good at this. I've been practicing. Thank you for, and I can borrow? Yes. Give it
George,
Give it
put that one down.
I'm so prepared. I don't need anything. So I don't have paper to write on anymore. I did my computer. All right.
All right, it was fun to throw it.
I'd like to call tonight's meeting of the Policy Review Committee, East Stroudsburg School District in session, and have everyone please rise and say the pledge of allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May we have roll call, please?
George Andrews,
Present.
Jason Goldstrand, absent.
He will not be here.
Okay, Keith Garcutt
Present.
and Debbie Kulik. Present.
All right, I'd like to move on to, may I have, I see, I'm gonna go to this here. Hold on. I'm sorry, I'm gonna go to the Chromebook. I'm gonna be, give me a minute. Meetings. Thank you. Uh-oh, no, I'm in the wrong meeting. Thank you, Bill. I forgot, yeah, my allergies. Okay, now I'm getting, hold on. Apologize, I had it all ready before I got here. I'd like to have a motion to adopt this agenda for September 23rd, 2024, with the members of the committee reserving the right to add to the agenda and take further action as the committee deems appropriate.
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Any discussion?
Aye.
All in favor? Thanks, Deb. All right, now I just got to get back to, I think we're good. I can't see the documents now. I had it all set, Deb. You've been so proud of me. Okay, maybe can I share with you, George? First off, we have no policy discussion for new business tonight, as we have some the July VPN, right? That's what we call it, VPN? PNN. The July PNN had some things that we were going to discuss, but now there's some litigation at the state level. We've decided to put them off to wait for approval from what's going on in Harrisburg.
That sounds reasonable.
So, no, it's not, instead of discussing it twice. We just got this month's PNN, which we will discuss next month also. Keep in mind, I did notice on the PNN, I don't have the specifics, but you can check the PNN. There is a policy webinar, one in September, one in October, that we can tune into via PSBA to better understand the PSBA system. So if it's in that PNN, if you look, just so you all know, I learned this today. If you look, there is a section I can show you, George. I'll show anyone. You can find the PNNs. All the PNNs from the last couple of years are listed in our board docs. So we can go back and reference them for future reference, which I think is a great thing.
Excuse me, Keith, before we move on, we just need to approve the minutes from last month.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot to. I would like to make a motion to approve the minutes from last month's meeting, dated August 19th, 2024.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Okay, so now we're going back to, we skip over new business because there is no new business. And then, yeah, you found it. See that, George? You found it? It's up there. All the way back to 2022. We have the VPN, the PNNs there, which is really nice. Okay, so now we're moving on to policies in old business. Policy 004-1, school board representatives. I'm going by memory right now because I'm not in the system, but I think the only thing we pretty much are discussing here is the fact that we're adding MCTI to the listing. Oh, here it is. I found, I got it in the system. Hold on. Now I got it back in the system, George.
Okay, you're back in?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, sorry.
No problem.
And are there any questions on this one? I mean, I can read it. Let me just make sure.
Yeah,
That's pretty much it. Okay. pretty much all we're doing. This is the old minutes, the old policies we're going through and referring to them and correcting them as needed.
Reason the change.
Correct. Okay, so then next is policy number 207, confidential communications with students. It looks like we're adding, this policy does not relieve any district employee from mandatory child abuse reporting obligations. And then further down, qualifying circumstances may include not are not limited to circumstances where there is a safety concern for the student or others. I think that's pretty
I
self-explanatory.
have no problem with that one.
That's good. Safety is our utmost concern.
It's too-
The next one is 211. In 211, we have interscholastic, it's policy student accident insurance. We're adding the word interscholastic athletics. The definitions for the purpose of this policy, the program of interscholastic athletics shall include all activities relating to competitive or exhibition sport contests, games, or events involving individuals, students, or teams of students when such events occur between schools with this school district or outside the East Stroudsburg Area School District. For purpose of this policy, extracurricular programs shall be those activities which are sponsored or approved by the board, shall ordinarily include intramural sports and clubs not classified in interscholastic athletics. Eligible students are defined as all enrolled students of the policy holder while participating in district-sponsored interscholastic athletics and extracurricular programs. The board shall maintain insurance coverage by a qualified insurer over and above the first responsibility of family coverage at no cost to the student for injury resulting from accidents sustained while participation in interscholastic athletics or extracurricular programs. And then going down to delegation responsibility, coverage for eligible students excludes travel to and from any activity if the district provides transportation and the student travels by other means of transportation. Basically, I think it's self-explanatory. So let me ask you a question. So now, just that last statement, say a student goes to, say, a sporting event and the parent, and they make this sporting event, that's saying if the parent drives their student home, we've separated our ties for any coverage once they separate from the game.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's I'm just
Yep.
clarifying that.
You got it.
And then this basically is covering students that if their home insurance, if their family insurance doesn't cover them, that's what this is doing. It's covering them beyond that.
Yes,
Oh, that,
if they've signed up for the additional insurance through the school district.
Okay, the additional policy. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Any questions on this?
Every injury will wind up going through your own insurance, right?
Correct.
And then typically they'll try to come after the school district, but I've never seen one, honestly, that's been successful, whether it was through a civil lawsuit or however it worked. I'm not saying that's good or bad. I'm just telling you the facts as to how it works.
My concern is this, are students that may not have health insurance. A lot of people don't have health insurance. Are we, that's what this policy is.
If they have the additional policy through the
If they
district.
apply for it.
Yes.
it's not more accident insurance, not health insurance.
I'm sorry?
This is accident insurance. isn't it?
No, this is for insurance, if they get hurt
While
during
on
a
a trip.
game. Yeah,
While
while
on a field trip or a
participating.
sporting event.
But It's accident insurance, not health insurance.
It's health insurance, but it's per act, yeah.
And this is only covering, this policy is only covering interscholastic activities and extracurricular programs.
Right.
Yeah, it's not health insurance, George, because it doesn't cover any.
It's just for that event.
Only if something happens to them
That's
during
what I'm
school
saying, yeah.
time,
Right.
that's all.
Yeah, that,
Okay.
that's why. I wanted-
And the reason they need it is because a government entity is generally immune under Municipal Claims Tort Act. Because if they're discharging a government function and somebody happens to get hurt and they weren't negligent, they can't be sued. So this gives people a buffer that they can choose to, they can elect to take.
Okay. Policy 221.1 pupils, school academic attire or standard dress. We are repealing this. Obviously, that was an old policy, was still in there that we never really took out when we created our other dress code policy.
Correct.
So we still don't have any dress code.
No, we do. We have a dress code.
Yes, we do.
There is a dress code. It's not a
It's not.
a formal dress code like some schools, but they do have a certain dress code they have to follow
Yeah,
to
we-
come to school.
Yeah, I was very.
Yeah.
I mean, I was very much.
But it's not a structured one like we had for a year or so. Okay, so that one's being repealed. Next, we have 224. 224 is care of school property, where we're adding the superintendent shall notify the board of major incidents of vandalism to school property. We're crossing out that we'll submit, I'm not gonna read what we're crossing out, but then it goes on, students should be aware that all district property issued to them remains the property of East Stroudsburg Area School District. Students are responsible for returning borrowed property to the district in satisfactory condition. If such property is lost or damaged, it will be the responsibility of the student and or the student's parents / guardians to pay or replace those items. Pay for or replace those items. The district may refer delinquent of obligations, fines, and or fees to the local district justice and or to an outside agency for collection of the appropriate action. So basically, this is saying if you don't return stuff that's ours, we're gonna come after you.
Right.
The only thing is years ago, it was always, well, you won't get your diploma if you don't, I didn't really see anything in here. Do we have to-
I'm sure we still do that as well internally.
Okay, but that's an internal cost.
I'm sure of it, yep.
Okay, and then obviously there are fees that are determined, or is it determined on the actual cost of whatever the product is?
See on the cost of the product.
Okay. We're not
The
looking to,
replacement cost of the product,
we're looking to
not,
replace it, not to make
yeah.
money.
It's mainly
Okay.
for the computers and.
Okay. So any questions on that one? Moving on, 228 Student Government Association. We are only adding, I think it was, or designee to the superintendent. Basically, this is just talking about student government and adding that word. Any discussion on that one? Okay, getting good at this. Public performances by students, which is policy 230. We are adding when public performances are scheduled as a regular part of a planned course of instruction taking for credit, students shall be informed in advance of their obligation to participate, and they will be excused from participation only in accordance with the rules, procedures governing school attendance. This one, I had a question on that. Well, what is this policy referred to? I mean, what are we?
let's say that a class is doing a performance, let's say the choral group is doing a performance, part of their grade is how they perform. And they're doing a choral performance somewhere. It could be during the school day or out of the school day. If you don't go, that's a problem.
Okay,
It's
right.
part of the coursework. It's not an extracurricular program.
Okay.
It's part of the coursework.
And this is backing that up.
Yes.
Like if they come down here. To form a foot,
Right.
well, that's part of the grade.
Yep,
If they
that's
didn't-
exactly
If
right.
they didn't show, they get that.
That's right. Yep.
It's not voluntary.
Unless they had an excuse in accordance to school rules, i.e. I was sick,
Yeah.
or they get a note.
I mean,
Whatever.
when the whole element of the program is to perform for the final concert and you don't show up at the final concert,
It's
It's
correct.
like
Everything you did
turning
was
in
not-
for your final
it's not a big,
exam.
yeah.
It's a problem, right?
Okay, yep, got that one. Any questions?
Just
Okay.
think of it as a final exam. If you
Yep.
don't do a final exam, then that's a
No
problem as
problem.
well.
You get a
Well,
zero.
well, it depends on I don't want to get into the whole math, but yeah.
I get it. Next is policy 232, which is student involvement in decision-making. This one is blank because there's nothing to change. We're keeping it the same way. Unless you want to change it. Okay, good. But in our procedures of reviewing all our policies, we're reviewing every policy a little bit at a time.
Every
Every-
person has to have a swipe at the pinata.
That's right. Public records, 706. We're changing business manager to chief financial officer. The big CFO in charge. And that's all we're doing, right? We're making CFO. So that's just procedural.
So is the business manager the one that's in charge of the records now?
Well, the business manager, we don't have a business, we have a CFO. That's all we're doing.
It disintegrated.
All we're doing is changing
That
the
job
term
disintegrated.
business manager.
That's a couple of separate lock and key, right? A lot of those records.
The chief financial officer is in charge of whatever the business manager did before. Is now the responsibility of the CFO.
CFO.
But wasn't.
He makes a mistake.
Responsibility.
No, those are public records. These are property records. This is records of inventory of district products and
Okay, that's.
Equipment.
That's what it's trying.
So how many computers we bought last year and inventory?
Anything the district owns, look at it that way.
You got it. Any question, Jordan? All right, let's go on. 706.1 disposable of equipment, supplies and textbooks. This one, we're saying it's the board's policy that resources including equipment, vehicles, textbooks, library books, instructional materials and supplies, sports-related equipment and supplies, food products, equipment and supplies, transportation, security and maintenance equipment, which are deemed to be unneeded, unusable, and or obsolete shall be quickly and efficiently disposed of as follows. When it has been determined by the district or designate that the superintendent or designate that any equipment is obsolete or unneeded, the board authorizes that such equipment may be sold, exchanged, or disposed of in accordance with any of the following provisions. The equipment is no longer required for its originally intended purpose. The equipment is considered out of date, obsolete, or unusable in an unusable condition. The equipment is in quantities exceeding any possibility of effective use in the district. Then it goes down in definitions. Definitions of equipment refers to the instructional or sports-related equipment as well as equipment related to food service, security, transportation, maintenance department. It includes but is not limited to production, recording, computing, printing, laboratory equipment, kitchen appliances, utensils, tools, vehicles, and maintenance equipment. Then going on to textbooks and resource materials, textbooks shall be defined as the books in print or digital format used as a basic source of information in the planned instruction. Resource materials are used to enrich the approved curriculum and shall include nonfiction and fiction books, magazines, reference books, supplementary titles, multimedia and digital materials, maps, library books, software, and all other instructional material. Instructional supplies and materials. Instructional supplies are those used for instruction, including paper, pencils, art, and sports-related supplies. Materials and supplies in kitchens, garages, and custodian offices include but are not limited to paper products, pots and pans, cleaning supplies. Delegation of responsibility, and any supervisor may recommend the need to dispose of specific materials. The administrator supervisor informs the superintendent or designate of such a recommendation. The superintendent or designate declares that the material is unusable, obsolete, unneeded, and determines a disposition method used based on the anticipated current market value of the material. Guidelines. Items with no resale value may be disposed of in the following ways: salvage scrap, such as local dealers, donated to local charitable organizations, or discarded in the trash or recycled. Items with resale value may be disposed of the following ways: online auction, public auction, generally conducted by a licensed auctioneer, negotiated sale, normally used when disposing of items of substantial value, sealed bid, normally used for items of substantial value or unique qualities, pre-price sale, large quantities of obsolete or surplus equipment may be sold by this method. And then silent auction, obsolete or surplus equipment may be sold by this method. For items with resale value, the board shall approve the method of disposal along with a minimum starting bid as recommended by the superintendent or designate. It's items sold that exceed the minimum bid shall be sold to the highest bidder. Items that do not sell for the minimum starting bid shall be reconsidered by the board for resale at a lower value or disposed of in accordance with items of resale value. And then going down, we're replacing business manager with chief financial officer. Other methods of disposal for specialty items may include: 1, equipment being replaced may be traded in on new equipment as part of the purchase procedures. Used textbooks may be sold to dealers specializing in used textbooks. We're crossing out all the books information. Any questions on all that?
Yes. Do we keep a list of charitable organizations that we notify when things are being disposed of? And or how do we let that information out?
I think through contacts that we have, and in most districts I've ever been in, we have local contacts that we know. Like, for instance, if there's textbooks or supplies, materials like that, we would probably call Notre Dame. you know, or we could call if we had, let's just assume we had, I don't even have a good
Can-
example for you.
Can we create a list of organizations that might be interested? And I say this because I'm connected with an organization that would ship your unusable textbook to third world areas where they need that type of thing. So I want to make sure that they're not just put in the dumpster.
Yeah, they're not going to the
when they can
dumpster,
be-
so,
When they
I
can
mean,
be
I would
used,
think-
but there should be a list, so I would
Yeah.
know.
well, a list of the materials or a list of the places to send them?
A list of the organizations
Yeah.
to notify that they're available.
Yeah, and what I would think is we get that list together, but we should go local first
Right,
and then expand from there,
right.
yeah.
Pete, did you want to say?
I was just here, appreciate the question.
Okay. Any other questions?
The only thing I would caution the board on, although it's on here, items with resale value may be disposed of in the following ways.
Yeah.
Number 3 and number 4, negotiated sale and sealed bid. And I'll give you an example. If you have a couple of work trucks that are for sale or a work truck for sale, I would not recommend doing a negotiated sale because who are you negotiating with? Who decides that, you know, anybody can just buy that truck? I would say you just accept sealed bids. The highest bidder gets the vehicle.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It makes it cleaner.
We have, right?
Or I would
Yeah.
basically do an
Just
online
the-
auction.
these are all the-
Or do an online auction like Peter said, yeah.
Or something like
Mhm.
that. That's what. something
Municipal,
similar.
right?
Because otherwise you get caught in the trap of, well,
I was
how
gonna
come you
ask about that.
chose,
Yeah, I didn't like some of those.
how come I chose Mr. Carcut to get that truck? How come I didn't get a chance to at least bid on it?
Mhm.
So I would just stay away from that one. I know it's
So
in
we
there
might
because
take that particular item off.
I-
of that
Not
list.
two line items out.
I didn't like that one.
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't take out sealed bid, and I'll tell you why.
No, I
Some
don't
people
mean
may not
sealed
want to
bid,
go
I meant
online.
Negotiated bid.
Some people might not want to go online, or some people, you know, maybe don't have access to get online, or they don't follow online bids. So I would leave sealed bid in. Negotiated sale concerns me a little bit. However, negotiated sale could also be a piece of property, so you're going to want to leave it in there. It could be ultimately at some point, maybe there's going to be a piece of property the school district wants to sell, and if you can't negotiate, then how do you do that, right?
These are just.
So I would leave it. I'm just saying for a consumable supply, i.e. a vehicle, although it starts out as a capital expense, but I would leave it alone.
Correct.
I would just always do for your own good, a sealed bid, or like Peter said, online auction, or both in that case, in case someone doesn't have an opportunity.
I only
That's-
bring that up because we're gonna have 40 school buses, that we're gonna need to dispose
Yeah.
of very, very soon. So I'm only bringing that up as part of the
Mhm.
process. So I would say that we're gonna use muni bid. I don't like the negotiated sale aspect of those things either, because, you just lose track of those things.
And it could always be a question, like who does, you know, since Peter brought it up, someone could always question and say, well, how come Peter negotiated a sale for less money than we sold buses 2 years ago somewhere else? And it's not Peter's fault, then maybe that's the
The
market, but
market.
why should he
Market
ever have to
profit, yeah.
explain that to anybody? So you're always better off doing an online auction, a sealed bid. I just think you're better off.
And we have that coming up shortly.
Yeah, I'm working to decide which way they want to go with that. I was leaning to.
So do you want to, at the suggestion of our superintendent, do you want to remove, number 3?
No, I would
No,
not.
he wants
No,
to leave it
wait, no,
in,
that was
but-
Deb's. I would leave 3 because you may some point down the line in this district, you might have a piece of property or something that's tangible that only
Oh, okay.
several people, then you're gonna have to negotiate.
Is there a
it.
way,
You follow me?
is there a way we can
Clarify it more,
clarify it
fine tune it?
so that it would be
Well-
negotiated bid for non-consumable items or
I think it's
something
at
like
the board's
that?
discretion, which
I
ones you
think, I would say, yeah,
those line items.
Whatever the.
Cause you're gonna know about it before we do it. So you
Right.
can always say, well, listen, John, that's a piece of or whoever's gonna. You can just say to Peter, listen, that's a large item. That's a piece of property. We're gonna negotiate that. It's gonna go through a realtor. It sort of falls into the common sense category. You're gonna know where that is.
Okay,
Yeah,
I didn't mean to muddy the waters. I just want you to be very careful because I would never want any of you guys to be accused because maybe there's something you want. And suddenly, you know, you're in my office and I'm going, hey, you know what? We'll figure this out. Give me $50 for that. And then suddenly it's out there. It's just a bad look. That's
Yeah.
all.
Right.
That's why I brought it up about the
Okay.
negotiated
The only
sale.
thing I was asking, those words shall be quickly. Can we take out the word quickly? Can we, in the very beginning, the purpose about obsolete, it's the very first paragraph where all unneeded, unusable and or obsolete shall be quickly and efficiently disposed of as follows. Can we take the word quickly? I don't like that word.
Yeah,
Which is not, no, which is not changing.
District.
Because
I
I'm
would
having,
leave efficiently though, because you don't want to you don't want stuff sitting in a warehouse forever, right?
I'm just
Taking up
having,
space.
So
15 years
what
ago.
happened with this policy in particular is that, there was no guidance from PSBA on it. So, Deb really looked at other districts and we modeled it at other school districts.
okay,
And so that's quickly was one of the words they used, but yeah, quickly.
quickly doesn't sound right to me.
No, it seems like we're just rushing it and just doing it the.
You're right.
Yeah,
I mean, we can take
Maybe-
another month
Maybe you can use on a timely basis.
or just efficiently disposed of.
yeah. I'll just use
Take the word quickly out.
Shall be efficiently disposed of as follows.
I wouldn't beat it up.
Yeah, just take the word. quickly
Yeah,
out.
just take the word of, Deb, can we remove quickly? And the word and, so shall it read, shall unusable or obsolete shall be efficiently disposed of as follows.
Yeah.
Okay, that, I like that. That makes me feel better.
So I would make that.
Anyone else?
We want that.
Anything else? Okay, Wayne, do you have any, you're listening, are you anything, Wayne? You okay? You don't have to wait, if you hear anything, pipe in, my friend.
We're up to
All right,
the
so-
public part.
Oh, we're up to public part anyway. Oh, no, yeah, we are up to oh, no, yes. Yes,
Yeah.
anything public comments, public participation. Anyone online first off? Nope, okay, any public participation in the hall, in the room here? Okay, well, now, this is where it gets fun without having that agenda for, okay, I'm gonna read it from here then. I would like a motion to authorize and direct the administration to post the following items with noted revisions for public review during the month of September and subsequent board action in October. And we're looking at policy 211, policy 221.1, policy 224, policy 228, policy 230, policy 232, policy 706, policy 706.1,
And policy
004.
and policy 00.4. I didn't see it. Oh, here, that one. Yes,
And also 207.
what was it? Okay, and 207. How'd I miss that? And, oh, I could have done my agenda. I
So
printed it this way, right?
So moved.
You have a second?
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, then I would like to call for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, this concludes our meeting. Well, our next I didn't say our next meeting is next month, right before, which is the board meeting, October. We'll add that,
October
third-
21.
October 21,
The third Monday.
third Monday.
The third Monday is the holiday.
21st.
The Monday before.
All right, have a good night.